One of the things actually really like about you is like the way you connect, to people in a different way. Because every single person is different, right? And every single person give you different emotions. And in somehow, art, this is how they do it. This is how you do your music too, depending on the emotions like these people like share with you, right?
Technological stuff, and I'm not hating on technology. Like I see the efficiency in it. I see the use of it. But back to analog days when it was all there wasn't like a converter, there wasn't an EQ that was mixing from analog to then putting it so that your computer software could then digitalize it and then sending it back out to the speakers and all this, and so that people could hear it. I'm not saying it changed the music, but it changed the music. Like there's a reason why you go listen to a vinyl and you're like, oh, that's that, like I feel it.
Welcome to Awaken Consciousness Podcast.
Again, a new episode. This time with one of my friends, OD, a creative artist, and I was saying somehow a poet too. Finally, brother. It takes a while, but you finally made it.
Bro, thank you graciously for having me on this podcast. It's pretty excited to get conscious with music and art and have some discussions.
I'm so excited. This is actually like a podcast in a new way because since you are an artist and the way artists see life, it's way more different than people in everyday life. Because I will say from my personal perspective, it's more like an abstract way, right? You see things in details. You see and appreciate little things that a lot of people see it every day, but they don't actually like see it. You can see it but not observe it.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I remember like that video that you showed me that day that we was here in my pool and we was talking about consciousness. And you went to the grass and you talk a little bit about like little things, but
Yeah.
so amazing like how you address, perceptions.
Yeah.
Perception in terms of consciousness, perceptions in terms of music, perceptions in terms of nature. And this is one of the beautiful things about music too, because it's a way also to express yourself. Different artists do it in a different way, right? Some people do it through music, some people do it through art, and some people do it through poetry. But in somehow, music is also like poetry. And one of the things that excites me a lot in this podcast is to share this particular perspective with you. So I would like to tell us more a little bit of your life and why you decided to take this journey.
Are we talking about the journey of life? Or are we talking about the journey of art?
Well, that's part of your
hand in hand for me.
that's part of your life, and life is your art, and your art is life in somehow, right?
Yeah, there's this quote that I posted on an Instagram post like back in 12th grade a while ago, and it's as simple as this: it's all art. If you don't see that, change perspective. And I think that's kind of something that I've utilized in a way, just in viewing different perspectives in life and different, which seems mundane things, but just because I've met and interacted with so many people, it's kind of just shown me that like there's so many angles to a circle in a way. Remember that quote we were talking about that one time?
Yeah. One of the things I actually really like about you is like the way you connect, to people in a different way, because every single person is different, right? And every single person give you different emotions. And in somehow, art, this is how they do it. This is how you do your music too, depending on the emotions like these people like share with you, right?
Yeah, bro. It's something that I've been stressing about, working on for a while. Like I started listening to music in utero. Funny enough.
In what?
In utero.
Interesting.
Yeah. My mom's was in university at this was in Sudbury. People on her floor would actually come and put headphones on her stomach, and they would like show, I guess, me and her the music that was like of the time. And I joke around with that and say, yeah, I've been listening to music since utero, but it's I don't know. Maybe it's the reason why I feel so connected to music. Maybe I don't know. It's just like I really feel that like music is life, and music is like everything kind of works on sound and frequencies. But let's not get too much into that one. But yeah, it's just so now like I said, I've listened to music for 24 years now, and it's eventually when I was like 20-ish, I decided like yeah, it's I want to start making music, and started off with like poetry, started off with writing. I always kind of strummed together weird sentences because of just learning different languages and not really paying attention too much to grammar. So I was going more with like the way it sounds. In Igbo, on my dad's side, we're Igbo, and that's our tribe. We're very proud to be from Nigeria, and more specifically Igbo. But the language Igbo is very spoken. It's a very ancient language, and it's even I'm learning it now, and it's got like 27 or 28 letters in the alphabet, but some of them are just sounds like in Spanish. Like you have sounds that are just you don't necessarily, you wouldn't read it that way, but it's pronounced that way in a way.
Yeah.
So when I was like 19, 20, started writing, and then 20-ish was the first studio that I stepped foot in. Shout out El Diego, shout out Kalita. That was that's where I graced the mic, I guess, if I said it in an egotistic way. But it really was that. Like I was shy, I was nervous, and like I've always been a pretty confident person, but I just felt so humbled in there. I was like everyone was paying attention to my voice, you know, like and what I had to say, and it's when all eyes on you, it's a feeling that can collapse or make someone shine.
Oh, for sure. Because at the beginning, you know, is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
Well, technically, everything at the beginning is difficult.
True that, bro. True that.
You don't know what you're doing. You just have a feeling. It's kind of like me creating this podcast, right? This is the beginning. So at the beginning, like, I thought it was going to be way more easy. I thought it was going to be, I just got to, you know, put a black screen in the back, going to grab my phone, and I just start shooting, you know?
Yeah.
And then somehow this is how you start. But then I'm like, hey, like if I want to reach like more people, like I should like, you know, little by little like improve myself. And this is how, you know, we create this studio.
Yeah.
And now like, you know, adding like these details and adding like this wave of actually like perceiving things different. I remember the beginning of this journey, people was telling me like, look, the way you see life and the way you address it, it's quite unique. You should talk about this. And that's what I did. That's what I'm doing. And through the journey, I met amazing people like you.
Oh, respect you. Yeah, man. You have been actually a mentor to me in a way. I remember just our conversations over chess and just seeing someone that sees life or this North American world from a different perspective but still has success here was refreshing.
Yeah, it was like a kind of like a journey, I would say, like since the beginning when I moved here to Canada. I'm looking forward to expand this in a way of like I can not only like reach people, but I can actually like reach souls, right?
Yeah.
Somehow I will say like music is like that too, because as you said previously, music is about vibrations and frequencies, and what it touch is your soul.
I mean, we get real analytic about it. Technically, it's your earbone vibrating, but then it goes to the brain and all that psychological shit. But nah, you're right. It does eventually somehow intertwine or touch your soul in a way, and that's something that I was like, oh, how does music make a person feel so much? You know, how do you feel so many emotions from literally just a frequency that's vibrating in your earbone? Like, how does that make sense? And then like I listened to music for, like I said, a long time, and when I say listen to music, I didn't discriminate whatsoever. Like I listened to Johnny Cash, I'd listen to country, I'd listen to rock and roll, metal, Metallica. I would listen to, actually one of my favorite artists right now is Bill Withers, and he phenomenal songwriter, phenomenal artist, and he kind of like goes into this genre that I would call like blues, but it's soul blues, but it's also still got some poppiness to it. Like old music in a way is just they didn't have all this technological stuff, and I'm not hating on technology. Like I see the efficiency in it, I see the use of it. But back to analog days when it was all, there wasn't like a converter, there wasn't an EQ that was mixing from analog to then putting it so that your computer software could then digitalize it and then sending it back out to the speakers and all this, and so that people could hear it. I'm not saying it changed the music, but it changed the music. Like there's a reason why you go listen to a vinyl and you're like, oh, that's that, like I feel it. I mean, it has to do with the needle going over the bumps in the vinyl, and then that makes the sound, and there's a little eerie like scratching noise to it that gives another like sensation to listening to vinyl music. But there's still like that, just that rawness to old music that when you listen to, you just like, whoa, and then you hear the little crackles, you hear the little, it's more realistic, it's more reality. Nowadays, you know, you got pop that's huge, you got radio tunes, and even country's getting into it, but it just sounds so perfect. And it's the imperfections sometimes that really do create beauty in a way, and that's unique. It's magic in a way.
It's actually magical. There's just like this type of songs, you know, who kind of like reach you and just like stay with you forever, because some songs like hit you in a moment that you're like in an emotional time, you know, in terms of happiness or sadness. But that particular song hits you. You just turn on the radio and just like hits you like right. I never hear that song, and it hits me like right in the spot.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I know what you mean, man. Like that's just music, bro. But it's also the attachment to music to emotions, and then you can attach that to past experiences, current experiences. Like emotions is kind of like the way that we guide our whole being through life. It's like a ruler of, oh, this makes me feel happy, sad, therefore I do that. This makes me feel angry, therefore it has a reaction. So emotions that you feel, and then through music, like it's like a time capsule that you're like the artist is trying to convey, or not even trying to convey exactly. It depends what type of lyrics or what they're saying, but your personal experience that you have with the music is just, it's cool. And it's cool that artists that are able to have, like I call it evoking emotion. When a song evokes emotion, that's what you're talking about. It's magical.
Yeah, I remember this song, which is also not only emotional but also awaken your conscience, like this podcast from Kendrick Lamar right now. You know, they not like us.
Oof! Oh, that song. I have so many feelings about that song. So many emotions.
Trust me, you're not the only one.
Yeah. Yo, oh, bro, you know he played that song like 5 to 6 times.
I know.
When he performed it, and the 6th time I think was just the instrumental. People were still singing along. Like it was wild. And so much hate on Drizzy. You know, shout out Drizzy, but it's the rap game. You know, the rap game is just it's a hostile environment. There's so much animosity and ego, and you have to prove yourself. You have to show your top dog. You have to do that by putting down other people. So both people are goats. Like I can't deny it. Kendrick and Drizzy, and yo, shout out J. Cole, bro. Honestly, if I had to rate people, artists and people that are just J. Cole's goat. That's it. Simple as that. I'll stop talking.
I remember actually one of the first songs from J. Cole that I heard is like that thing, the neighbor thing, that something like the neighbor thing.
Selling dope.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I am. Motherfucker, I am. I'm not selling dope, guys. Don't worry.
But we can get connected through consciousness or emotions through music. You know, that's the magical part that you're saying. Actually, back in the days, music was supposed to be in 432 hertz, and then they changed it, right? Because the Rockefeller interfered not only in music but in medicine and a lot of other stuff. But that's a different topic. And music can kind of like vibrate and resonate with your body. Because 432 hertz is also like a earth frequency, right? A frequency of nature. And this is why kind of like heal you.
It's 432 hertz. What would you say exactly?
432 hertz.
Okay, good to know. I didn't know that. Cheers.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the frequency of the earth, and that's the healing healing part of the music.
Interesting. Yeah. Like there's all types of pitches and different frequencies that people accord to different things. And like I guess in meditation they probably use stuff
Yeah.
like that. Okay, interesting.
Binaural sounds. They can also use it for 32 hertz. Also for like expanding consciousness, created awareness, study, focusing, etc.
Yeah. Like vibrations, man. It's all cheers to vibrations. Good vibrations, bad vibrations. I mean, I guess the earth isn't vibrating too happy these days. Maybe it went up a little bit, maybe it went a little, but that's a different political topic. As for hertz, man, yeah, like I know, like I focus more on BPMs, like the cadence of which the beat kind of repeats at. That's like when you're like making a beat, when you're making a song, like you'll look at different BPMs. That's always the thing that my producers are telling me. Oh, what BPM is that? Like, I gotta match the BPM. Oh, I gotta do that. And but I think it has to do with just history of growing up around music, and also like in the past with my ancestors and stuff. Just music has always been a part of the culture. So that thing people call rhythm, they say, oh, white people don't have rhythm, or black people have so much rhythm and all this stuff. But it's really just allowing yourself to feel your environment and being connected with it, like you're saying, you know. So in shamanism, it's something you guys practice a lot. I hear about.
For sure, we use a lot of drums.
Yeah.
We use drums. We also use the dancing part, which is also very important into music, because you can get the people, you know, into the vibe. It's kind of like a trance. Yeah, you trance. Actually, in shamanism, part of the dancing and the drums, it puts you in a trance way, right?
Trance.
So you kind of like disconnect from this body and you connect into a higher self.
Yeah.
Music also does that. That's a beautiful thing about it. And there is like some artists who just stays forever, like Bob Marley. That guy like died like a long time ago, and people I play like 3 Little Birds and still like love it.
I mean, they say a person dies. Well, they say a man dies, but that's a little sexist or whatever. But I'm not getting on that. But a person dies the first time, or let me repeat that. A person dies, and they died twice in this world. They die the first time when their body and their soul disconnect, and the second time is the last time they are mentioned or kind of thought about in a way. And that always resonated with me, because I've always thought about death and thought about what is that like, and what is the afterlife, and what is all these concepts that religion bring up, and what is life, you know, it's all these controversial thoughts. But it's really that, man. Like you're talking about Bob Marley, like think about it like that. He's still living, you know. You throw on Spotify, you throw on anyone talking about reggae, the first thing you'll hear people talk about is Bob Marley, or yo, did you hear Bob Marley's son, or all this stuff. So it's really it's such an interesting and complex, but simple. If you just look at it for face value, music is life in a way.
Of course. And again, you use that type of music, you know, to kind of like boost your mood and boost your energy. So say, don't worry about nothing, 'cause every little things, it's gonna be alright. It's so beautiful, like how to connect to your soul, as I said, like previously, not only to connect to your emotions, and allow you to expand also your mind, because you as an artist, you always use not only nature but also like previous artists before you, because has been many artists before, and will be many more after you.
It's humbling.
Yeah,
it's humbling,
and it's very important, that word for you, not only in your field but in your life, you know, because if we don't appreciate and feel grateful for things that we have and feel humble for what we have, we just kind of like lose our mind. And that's what happened with a lot of artists, not only in music but in everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even same podcasters and others.
I mean,
once you reach this fame, it's like, okay, now the best, you know. Like
I was just talking to people about fame today. People get consumed by fame, and you get consumed by everyone wanting you to do something that you lose yourself. You know, and like you look at, I'm not gonna hate on any big artists, but you can notice it in celebrities and just anyone that gets a lot of fame or just has a lot of eyes on them. It definitely alters or influences their character, their personality, and all that. Like even if you look at, I'll get real scientific for a sec. what's that split something experiment. You showed me this video. I've seen it before, but we talked about it. But when the camera actually focuses on the electrons, it changes their pattern. And then when the camera is not, so when things are being observed, it has an effect on what's happening. So it's such an interesting way, because you look at it at the micro, but then you look at it at the macro. And it's scary sometimes to think about that, but it's just reality, and it's just the way that, I guess, life evolves in a way that things function.
Well, once you change the way you look at things, things change.
You could say change your perspective, and it's all art in the end.
Exactly. It's everything about vibration. But that's the universe in somehow, like, neutrons, protons, electrons, like they're all vibrating. Like all this that we right now, it looks solid. It's not solid, it's vibrating, but it's vibrating at so low frequency that it looks solid, but it's actually like vibrating.
Yeah, bro. Even like you look at karate, you look at monks, you look at people that train their physical body to vibrate at different frequencies, and they're able to like break bricks, which people look at and they're like, how is that possible? How can you use what is soft, like,
Yeah,
and then break something that is solid, like. But yeah, it's just concentration and focus and all this stuff, and it's just it's a wild world to perceive, but it is perceptions in a way, and it is the world, so might as well be in tune with it and learn about it and respect it.
that's something that we unfortunately getting far from it.
Well, I mean, you see my YouTube video, you saw
Yeah.
what I talked about in there, like main key, Earth is a home, simple as that.
Yeah, but the respectful part is the part that like we are like missing, Me as a shaman, that I came from nature and from this kind of like ancestors environment, is for us is very important to connect with nature. For us is very important to, connect, but also help in somehow to create more harmony in this world, because my ancestors used to tell me like, don't take more than you need. But these days we take so much and we give so little. If some of us give, right?
Yeah, no, it's a cycle, and it's a pattern that just keeps on increasing in its negative form, I guess, in a way. I always laugh to my dad when he's like, "Oh, I gotta get out of North America. I gotta get out of Canada. I gotta go back to Nigeria." And like my mom would always say, "Oh, he's so less stressful over there. It's so much." And like Nigeria, there's so much corruption. There's so much pollution. The air is not even it's not even air compared to here. But yet, something about the heat, something about just the less stress. Like I swear, like you're talking about the vibrations and connections between people, the consciousness. You can sense it. You can feel it in a way. It might not be able to put your mind or your finger on it, but the atmosphere is the vibes. Like vibes is such a term right now, but it's a real thing. Vibes are felt in my thoughts, and scientifically you see it. And when people talk about the zone around you that you have of energy that interacts with its environment, and so science is maybe catching up to what shamans have been talking about for so long, and multiple cultures around the world have understood, but just not necessarily been able to put into scientific terms or been able to do scientific studies on it. I'm hoping science catches up, and like as I said, they're getting there.
Well, it will at some point. So in the last part that we was talking, it was about your culture. That actually like interests me a lot, because we never have actually talked about it, and I would like to know a little bit more, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. It's a deep rooted past in a way. Last time I was in Nigeria, I was almost kidnapped. In fact, there was a kidnap attempt on my life. And it resulted in me and my father having to run away from the soccer game that we were hosting in the village, and we ended up hiding in a goat house. I was like 10 at the time, so I didn't really understand what was going on. It was just a whole lot of chaos, a whole lot of stress, and I didn't understand. I was confused. And I just kind of never got an explanation fully besides that, oh, I was almost kidnapped. And I was like, oh, okay, but like I wasn't. So what was going on with all that? And yeah, no, that was the last time I went to Nigeria. That was the last time I stepped foot in my village, and that was the last time I got to connect with a lot of family members and friends. And shout out Ishioweri. I'll be back. No, that's an honest promise. Ishioweri is when I was 6 weeks old, I was put on a plane, and I flew down there, and I got to meet my people. I got to meet my village. I have a high status over there, along the lineage of status over there. So
that's why you almost get kidnapped, I believe. So
yeah, could be said.
Of course, called too much attention. So come with me.
Yeah, bro, it's hard to not cause attention when you're this damn pretty and tall and fucking strong. What can I say, you know?
By the way, in part of your performance, I would like you actually like to perform something, if you don't mind, in this podcast. It would be amazing to hear, to get a little bit of yourself. You cool with that?
Run it.
Let's go. I'm gonna pull some beats.
Yeah. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. I don't wanna tell a lie. Just the two of us. Nowadays I probably pass up on an old team, not to guess, but those are old things. Guess I learned from the past, no more mood swings. Got my eyes on a vision, Lord, I'm focusing. I'm not saying that you did me wrong, I'm just saying that you weren't the one. No more high feels we both moved on. Time to go grab a I belong. Time to go grab a I belong. This can't, I can't, we can't, this can't go on. Life tough, nothing new there. I walk a path, no one's been there. Hard to prepare, but I ain't scared. No one proved me wrong except my own damn self. Maybe because I haven't claimed all this damn wealth. Maybe because I haven't touched heights that I should have. Done things that I would have. All good because I ain't deader. Guess I should go get a header. Damn. Guess I should go get some head. Yeah. Alright, let me go back in. Lifelong, but I'm a patient man. I wouldn't want to live it wasting, cause I'm the only one that understands my life and what's my own damn plan. Don't sing along, this ain't a church jam. God ain't him, I'm the fucking man. Yeah, I'm the fucking man. Got a blue where it all belong. Got a blue where it all belong. We can't, we can't, damn. We can't stand. I wish I could go back to the land where I was, but I just ain't the plan. I guess I gotta go and rewrite the past, but then the past affects the future, and then the present gets caught in the losers or what? Sometimes I just gotta lay back and let it all flow on a mic. Watch a screen, watch people look at me, might fright, but it's all tight, don't worry. And I don't really like to worry, so I'm getting really groovy hurry. Might just get in a flurry. To some fries and that shit, make it wild. But yeah. That was a cool beat.
That's fucking nice. I like it. You know, in Nicaragua we also have a different type. So let's try to do it en español. Ahora vengo yo aquí, te explico algo diferente, te explico. Vengo y te enseño un poco de idioma que es poco diferente ahora.
Yo, señorita, me gusta the fat ass. Wanna make it bend over if it's a paradise, but I don't got time to buy you a paradise. Put it on my arriba.
Okay, this is another reason why you're gonna get kidnapped.
Bro, I don't know, man. Honestly, my mom always jokes around with me and she's like, yeah, if you got kidnapped, you just chat them to death. You just talk to them and I don't even know.
Well,
But no, kidnapping is a real problem in Nigeria. Like, they actually banned taxis and stuff because there's just so many kidnap attempts and kidnapped actual stories of just foreigners, just anyone being in the country and like big cities and stuff. And then it was just, yeah.
well, the situation only is also quite tough. Like living there, like everybody's kind of like survival mode. So of course you will find a way to get some money.
Well, I mean,
In Nicaragua, for example,
Yeah.
back in my country, we don't have that kidnapping issue. This is, but we have assaults. Like you're walking in the street and then suddenly a bike just pull over with a gun and he's like, "Give me your phone, give me your wallet," and that's it.
but there's still some sort of respect for life, I find, in Nicaragua.
True that. I will say people won't shoot you or kill you if you collaborate.
Yeah, the aspect of life has kind of been lost in a lot of African countries and even Hispanic countries as well. But if I speak specifically on Nigeria and what I've been watching in Arise News, shout out Arise News, there's a huge influence from foreign countries. I'm not going to name any, but do your research, look into it as you'd like. And it forces political people that have power in a way to be restrained in what they can do for the people. Like, business, like you own a painting company, you've worked business, you have a resort back in your home country and stuff like that. So you understand that business is all about power. And when lives start being something that people just negotiate, let me give a concrete example. Simple things like being donated a bunch of grain or a bunch of food or a bunch of rice just to feed your village. How is a chief supposed to turn that down when he knows that his people are hungry? They're not eating. They haven't eaten in weeks. They can't even cultivate the land. Like, there's things like that are just factors that are beyond one person. And then you have foreign people that are coming in and saying, oh, okay, well, they're aware of this. They see the situation and they take advantage of that because for them, that's nothing. But then the trade-off is they do get something that's very valuable for them. For example, petrol. In Nigeria, shout out Shell. Yeah, so just things like that. You see that these countries that are very rich in resources just kind of get abused in a way by just bigger companies, bigger powers in a way. So it's just a complex issue, and it's not necessarily getting too much awareness from a worldwide point of view. I mean, people in Nigeria know about this. And I've even talked to, just randomly, I was in Calgary recently. I drove down to Calgary and I was taking a flight back to Ottawa. And in the airport, I spoke to a Yoruba couple. And they were telling me some real interesting news about the situations in Nigeria. And they were telling me about how, now, can't quote me necessarily on this, but go for it if you really want to. There had been farms that were being cultivated, which is no problem. But then this country was then importing, or I guess at this point exporting, but before they even export the product that they cultivated from the farm, they would store it in Nigeria, making the power fluctuate because they don't really have a pretty solid grid in a way for power. Like in Nigeria or lots of different African countries, you'll see power is a big issue. People have generators. The worldwide, well, not worldwide, but national grid fluctuates all the time. I saw one engineer compare it to Nigerian's grid as the 70s in London. They're saying that today in 2024, there is a power grid that functions as if the technology of the 1970s in London, England. So just simple things of using a lot of power can actually devastate or influence a resource that is scarce in Nigeria. So, and then the product that was being refrigerated in the areas was then exported at that point from Nigeria to not going to name the country's name, but a country, where then they put their own label on the product and then exported it from their country back to Nigeria, selling it now as their product at prices that didn't make sense for the local population, or based on the whole process of how this happened. So fair trade is something that I've always been taught growing up. I mean, you go to any market, you'll understand fair trade quite quickly. And my mom, she has a master's in international development from NIPSIA. So she always worked with international development when we were traveling Ghana and traveling Nigeria, and she traveled India and a bunch of other different places. She had the pleasure to just see the culture and appreciate it. So yeah, it's fair trade was always something I was introduced to very early. I remember going to this is way back. This is back in Winnipeg when I was like 7 years old. We go to back then it wasn't Starbucks, it wasn't I think it was Bridgeheads or Second Cup, one of the two. But I think I'm leaning more towards Second Cup. But we'd always get fair trade coffee, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this is fair trade coffee. This is from wherever it might be. I want to say Nicaragua, but that's probably just because of you're from Nicaragua, and I got some family in Nicaragua too. But wherever she said it was, they're fair trade, and she was explaining to me the process of fair trade, and then it kind of clicked, and I was like, well, shouldn't that be like normalized? Shouldn't business work like that? Shouldn't international business work like that? And that was something that was always confused me for a long time, and I understand why after living in North America and being in this capitalistic world for so long, that business is about power, and the more power you have, the more business you can do, and the more easily you can do business with the more power. I mean, look at music, for example. Simply look at look at a lot of labels that sign a bunch of up and coming artists, or any artist that is desperate to get their music out there, and kind of makes a contract deal with these big labels. Like, I'm not going to name any names because I don't have any concrete proof, but I've heard a lot of stories from different artists, some big, some small. And yeah, it's just it's capitalistic business. It's just, we got all the power. You want this, we'll give you this, but it's going to cost you. And there's so many songs about selling your soul to the devil. I mean, that's a metaphor in a way, but how metaphorical is it sometimes?
True that. But, like in terms of just like capitalism and like getting some prime material and like resell it to your country, it's actually like a thing that happened not only in Africa, but in Latin America too.
Yep.
We, for example, produce coffee, we produce tobacco,
Yep.
we produce a lot of nice things. We sell it to another country. They put it in a nice bag,
Yep.
then sell it back
Yeah.
for 15 times the price
yeah.
or more.
X amount of numbers, they just throw the value on there. But those lives, like that's your country, that's your people, that's your brothers, that's your cousins, that's your community, that's your neighbors that are in those fields, that are sweating, that are literally killing themselves, and not metaphorically, like not being fed enough, not being able to even work enough in those places to make enough money to feed themselves with the curriculum, I guess North American says, with health, what it makes a healthy diet, and then still to go back and do it every day because it's the only option that they viably have, or that they can see. And not many people are helping or showing other ways.
Yeah, this is sad truth of reality. And these days, back in the days it was communist or capitalism, but now we have something, it's called a hybrid.
Tell me about that.
It's a communist capitalism. So there is many countries, who are just using this whale style. And I call it whale because it's big, and then back in the days, we just capitalists, we just want this way. And no, we just communists, we just want this way. But now they're fusion. It's a hybrid monster that what they're doing is like the riches are getting extremely rich, super rich, and the poor are getting like extremely poor. So middle class is about to disappear soon if we continue in this selfish behavior, and we, the people, are allowing this because we
Shaman
are the one who
Diego.
consuming that.
Shaman Diego. I have some questions for you, sir.
Let's
you know
go.
this better than I do. What's the price of real estate right now in Ottawa?
Depends what you're looking for.
All right, we're looking at
But
just
average
single-
$500,000.
Exactly. And that's just for a family house.
Piece of shit house, by the way.
Okay, well, that's judgment. I know your background. You got yes.
No, I mean, like, being honest, like in
Yeah.
Canada, like the real estate, you can get a half $500,000 house, and it's, for my personal perception, a piece of shit. You know, you go to the States and you buy the same $500,000 house, and you get a beautiful mansion. You know, you go to Mexico and you buy a 5-bedroom villa in Tulum for the same price. So it's a way in order to oppress the people. You know, like, I also work in painting, right? And I'm working right now in a building of 400 units. And I saw the prices, like, there is $2,000 for a studio, which is like the size of this studio pretty much. You know, like, you have a bedroom and a little kitchen, and then that's it. But then people are paying for that because right now Canada have an issue also with housing. So is that or is like something else? You know, like,
Man, it is such a discussion that could be had for as long as I could talk, honestly. And I think you could talk. I mean, we've seen this, like, in our community, in different communities, in different parts of the world. And it's not something that I hate on, because I definitely don't, I don't want to necessarily pass judgment and say I would do it any other way, because I understand the advantages, but then I also am just, I can't not see the disadvantages. You know, I can't not feel what what I'm observing in my community, and I can't not think of the outcome of that. And it's literally what you're saying. The middle class is being erased, and the 0.01%, I would say, keep on profiting, and they'll keep on profiting for as long as their lineage goes, and the generational wealth gets passed. And it's not a bad thing. It's the way things are right now, so I don't really want to say it's bad. If you accord negative things to it, it's hard to change, but it is a reality, or a future reality, that I don't fully see positively for many people, of the majority of people. I mean, just now, I mean, people are talking in Ottawa about grocery prices, and that's been a reality for lots of families for a long time. And like, we're so blessed in Canada. Like, food is accessible. We have structures
for now.
Exactly, that's the big for now. But we have structures. You know, we have a government that does look out for us in a certain way, that people can be not. I don't want to use the word compliant, but that can be satisfied, or what's the word when you are coasting in a way, like you're just
Fulfilled
is a way of saying it. Fulfilled enough that they don't need more. You know, like they're grateful that, oh, I'm in Canada, my water is clean, I have fresh air, I have food, I have a stable income, my credit score is not too horrible, my family is there. But it's like they almost lose their own identity. They're so consumed with being fine that there's not much room for else. Or even, I know Canadians, we're so polite, we're so kind, and how dare us complain when so many other people have it worse. But it's kind of that mentality that keeps us where we are, in a way. The idea that, oh, just because someone has it worse than you and someone has it better than you, that you should be okay with where you are. I don't fault that. That's a very humble and way to see it, and I applaud that. But life is meant to be lived, and people are meant to chase their dreams and give the opportunity to make those dreams real. Like, in Canada is a beautiful place for that. I mean, we have we have America right there. We have Mexico down there. We have over there. We have Africa. We have like so many resources and so many opportunities. Like, you know, like the American dream that's sold to my parents, my grandparents, and just a lot of Canadians, lots of Americans. That North American dream, it's real. Like, you can accomplish that here in this part of the world, but it's such a abstract concept in a way, and it's such a not a trap, but a interesting motivation to chase a dream?
And somehow, yes, but it also in somehow is also a trap because it's the rat race. You know that, right?
Brother,
You end chasing, I don't know, brands. You end chasing dreams, like, oh, I have to have this nice car in order, like, I can prove my friends I'm better than them. Or I have to have this big house, and my friends have a big house, so my house have to be bigger.
bro,
And you don't even need it.
You know how neighbors look at each other in your community, man. Like, it's wild.
You don't even need it. You know, like it's just about competing, but the very toxic competing. This is one of the things I also like a love about the ancestors in the shamans in Nicaragua, because everybody works for the community.
Mm.
So we don't need a mayor to work for the community. We all are the mayors. We all are the community. We all take care of the kids. We all take care of the everything. So once you change your mentality for a community mentality, it completely changes your behavior, because right now human beings are about selfish. It's about self-centered. It's about like, I want to be better than you and I want you to tell me. So in this way, I'm going to fulfill my ego and I'm going to be happy. But this is a system that we have been programmed, unfortunately, and only few of us who are like here in this podcast for now, in other parts of the world, are like started like slowly waking up from this.
It's slow until it's not, you know. It's until you can't sleep and you feel guilty for eating and you feel guilty for drinking water and you feel guilty because you have family and friends that don't have these opportunities. And then what do? You pity yourself? Do you self-pity? Do you spiral into a dark hole and just close the door and leave yourself there? Or do you appreciate what you have? You know, do you try to find ways, creative ways, working with the system, but also still remembering past experiences to make the future, like Buddha said this at one point, be the change you wish to see in the world. And that's something that I've always resonated with me. I don't always stay too true to that saying, but I think staying as true to what you want is one step in the right direction to just being your own person. And like you talked about the community in Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
This is how I always remember it. Nicaragua. My aunt-in-law, Lorena, shout out Lorena. But she always teases me about that. But yeah, so it's just the community, and that's such an important thing. But then you look at Canada, where it's like a melting pot of communities. What do you necessarily do with that? You know, it's like, whoa, there's every ethnicity here now. There's multiple of every ethnicity. Like, I grew up in a town, Pembroke, where you could actually count on two hands the amount of diversity in a way. And it definitely affected me, but it also, because of my open spirit and way to just reserve judgment in a way, I was able to not be negative fully about it all the time. I started understanding racism as a fear of unknown, and eventually over time a resentment towards the unknown. And I realized that if people accept people for their differences and their similarities, it does build a stronger and diverse community. But then there's that patience and there's that courage to, oh, this is different. I don't understand this. Am I gonna just shut it out, or am I going to observe, or am I going to question? And then there's all these things like
I'm gonna run.
Or I'm gonna run. The fight or flight instinct, like, that's anchored in our brain. It's the way that we've evolved for so many times. But this is the 24th century, or no, it's not the 21st century. It's the 21st or second. What is this? 21st century, I believe. Because
I don't know.
now I'm looking.
I won't say like it's dead or that, because I don't. It's 2024.
2020. I was gonna say, bro. Yeah, it's 2024. So, yo, shout out humanity for making this far, honestly.
Yeah.
I've been watching way too much YouTube. There's some interesting things about civilizations. Okay, so back to right now. Yes, music, shamanism, and culture. We kind of diverged from that path hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Nigeria, man. Ishiwari, Igbos, Yorubas, Hausas, Fulani. Those are the main four tribes in Nigeria. And speaking of different communities, those are distinctive, but also so similar in a way. Very old communities that have found ways to work with each other or not work with each other over time. And you see a lot of influence. I'm going to talk about foreign countries again. Apologies, everyone. But you see a lot of influence in history. Like, for example, let's shout out the British. Let's shout out England. Let's shout out all that
the
history.
French.
Not too much the French. They stayed away from Niger. They actually colonized more Niger, and then that became...
I know Cameroon gets like franchise.
Cameroon too. Well, I mean, like after World War II, World War I, like they kind of just split that shit up like a piece of meat. Like, oh, this is where I want to draw a line, and now this is your piece of land, and this is my piece of land. Ha ha! And now we can do business over the next 100 years. But yeah. So look at the independence of Nigeria back in like 1960s. This is actually a war that my grandfather fought in on my dad's side. They, like I said, there's some status there, and as a status, you have to prove it. You have to be a warrior. You have to be a leader, and you have to be courageous. And ultimately, you have to fight for what you believe in. So they did fight up. I'll use some new age terms. They went to war. They balled up with their homies, and they just they did their thing. They stood on business, but it was a lot more devastating than that. There was 3 tribes or 2 tribes mainly that kind of bullied the Igbo tribe in a way, and there was a war influenced by the British, their agenda, I guess, in a way, and both sides were kind of supplied, but at the end of it, the Igbos got a lot of respect. I mean, from the way I've heard it from different cultures, the Igbos got a lot of respect because they didn't actually end up being genocided in a way. Like there was a genocide committed, millions of lives were lost, but Igbos are still prominent today. Nigerians are still prominent today, and the country is still a country today. It's I mean, there's time, like I've heard stories from my grandmother about, actually not even from her, because I don't think she could even speak these words to me, because it's just some memories, you just never want to relive, even if
particularly when it's tough, because somehow you also you only have stories, right? Like you don't have those emotions, because the emotions are like the one who break you inside or triggers you. This is actually like something like very interesting in terms of like talking about energies, as we was talking previously, and frequencies and vibrations, because back in the days, humans, we don't use language. Humans, we just use telepathy.
How far are we talking here, Diego?
Like very, very far. We're very, very old. Like back in the days before.
Are you talking the ancient periods? You talking the Mayans? Like how? Like where are we placing on a scale somewhere?
Okay, so I don't know exactly the date. It could be, I don't know, 5,000, 8,000 years ago. Something like very like. Okay, so that's out of like the records that, because we have like the records of like, oh, humans has been here for a while, but we actually has been here for way older. Like technology has been here for way older. Do you know about the concept of other races like Anunnaki, Enki, and all those things? So all these races have way more technology than us. And before they arrive, we was just connecting through soul. I mean, so through nature. If I want to share a message to you, I just share it through my intention, and you can not only understand what I'm saying, but you can feel it at the same time.
Like I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I definitely believe in body language and communication besides orally and all that. And even what you're saying about the Anunnaki, man, I've done some research on that. Shout out Y-Files, shout out a few other YouTube channels that do touch a little bit of light on that. You got things like the green tablets. You got things like...
Emerald tablets.
The emerald tablets, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And you got lots of ancient history that's almost been extinct because of its facility to pass on to the next generation after that, and then we're talking about tens of thousands of years ago, where
plus the things was not even righted, because a lot of the things was just taught to one to another.
That is a good theory,
no, this is not a theory, this is a fact. I'm telling you, because I come from a shaman culture back in Nicaragua, and shamans, when you have a very important knowledge, which you call it wisdom, right?
Mm.
Because knowledge is just information, but wisdom is knowledge applied.
To
When you have this on you, but you know it's so much power, you cannot just give it to anyone. And if you write it, it could be ending in the wrong hands.
No.
So what is the best way to actually share it? Find the person and give it to that person directly.
Yeah, like
that's the way we do it in shaman styles.
A perfect example of what you're talking about. Well, the shaman style is a great example, but I was actually listening about an Arabic written text that is classified as the most dangerous book in history or in the world.
The Bible? Of course, it's a joke.
Oh, okay. I don't want to hate on people's religions, bro.
No, it's just a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke. We're joking. But yeah, the Bible. Sorry. Okay, no, but no, this book that I'm talking about wasn't the Bible. This one was actually, I wrote it down somewhere if I just can find it. But it's you just search up the most dangerous book in the world. It'll probably pop up somewhere on the internet. But it's they talked about how even the author of this book, he talked about how he did not want to share this knowledge with just anyone, and you had to be prepared to appreciate and respect and understand the knowledge, and that it can't just be just transmitted to anyone. It can't just be, because without respecting knowledge in a way and respecting wisdom and holding things sacred, and I mean sacred is in a way of like respecting it at its highest level, it loses its meaning, and of course,
it loses value, not his meaning. The meaning will be there, but the value. Well, the same Jesus says, like, don't throw your pearls to the pigs.
Well, yeah, like what I was going to continue saying there. So it loses its meaning, but then also, in a way, it loses its. I lost my train of thought now. It was value, wisdom, its power. It loses its power because, like, think about anything that you apply. If something gets mass produced, its value decreases or increases depending on people's perspectives, and
people's manipulation too.
Exactly.
Because you can get fire and you can construct beautiful things, but with fire you can also burn everything down.
Well said.
It's the same fire.
I mean, it's important to recognize all energies of nature. I mean, wind, fire, water, air. You know what I'm talking about right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll stop there.
And ether.
No, what'd you say?
Ether.
Oh, that's like internet, or what are you talking about?
Ether.
What's that?
You got the 4 basic elements, which is fire, water, earth, and air. But then you have a 5th one.
Tell me about that.
Ether. Ether is how like the universe itself like stays all together.
Okay.
So ether, bro. Ether is something that has been for centuries in shamanism and ancient cultures, but has been kind of hiding these days. And maybe for a reason, because everything that is hiding is, of course, always for a reason. Like you don't want humanity to actually know this information because it's very important and it's so powerful, as we was calling. So ether, what it is energy. It's consciousness. It's kind of like an egg that holds the entire universe. So it's the 5th element. And it's how, and somehow we become self-aware because it's the one who self-create. You can call it universe, you can call it God, you can call it consciousness, you can call it energy, you just name it. You can call it ether, but it's the same thing.
It's almost like you could say the ether, however you use that terminology, is within everyone, within all life, in a way that is able to be conscious and self-conscious in a way, because based on what you're talking about.
Exactly. And that's the beautiful part about magic too.
I love that you brought that up. Actually,
because once you get those particular tones, is how you actually start becoming an architect, and you start shaping and building your own reality.
Well, yeah, it's a very good utilization of ether and manipulating your environment and using resources to create. It's art in a way. Just wanted to touch back on that book I was talking about. Prove my credibility. This is like what I was talking about. Yeah. So I don't want to actually say the name of the book out loud because that's like we've been talking about. Things have value, things have power. But this person in this YouTube video.
Put the microphone.
Nice. This person in this video talks about it, and I think he respects and also talks his truth on his opinion on this text. And well, let's just say it's made me want to learn a little bit more Arabic. It's interesting stuff. But yeah, bro, you were saying that we had to go. We got the marina to go to after beach marina, right?
Let's go. We have to do some volleyball. Is it gonna be actually our closing? Summer is over.
Oh yeah, that's true. It went by so quick. When you start seeing time of seasons. And,
it's a tough life. Oh my god.
Tough life. Oh well, speaking about tough life, let me ride us out with some chill vibes, because there was some heated discussion at points in this podcast, and also some heated concepts. And I know people that might be watching and listening might be feeling all types of ways. So I'm just gonna break the tension and smoothing it out with music, which we all love so much.
Of course.
Here you go. My apologies. This is a different track I was working on. This is the right one. This is on YouTube beat. Let me shout out the producer and everything for this one. But 1 sec. This is another ad. YouTube and its ads. Alright, here we go. This one's called Stress Me, and the producer on this is #Danny B Tracks, it looks like. And it's an Afrobeat instrumental. It's got Thames and WizKid Afro R&B type beat. This is it was dropped back in 2 years ago, and I heard this, and immediately I was like, whoa, this is something I can work with. Started right into it. And without further ado, yeah.
Put it closer to the mic too.
Ooh,
there you
go. Chineke, 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 Chineke. Oh, I don't feel too worthy. Her body's so wavy. The way it did push up on me, don't make my pum 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 pum. Chineke, 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 Chineke. Oh yeah, Chineke. Oh yeah, Chineke. Oh yeah, Chineke, Chineke. I'll leave it at that for now, but groovy vibes, right? That's what
let's go, vibes, bro. That's the vibe goes. Music is the magic of the soul.
Ooh, well
so
said.
Let's make it blow.
Well said, Shaman Diego.
Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for having me on this.